Hi, I'm Chris, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to explore a real event that transcends time. In a world where ancient scriptures intertwine with contemporary events, a question rises from the depths of history, echoing through the ages to the present. An ancient prophecy, shrouded in mystery and interpreted by many, but fully understood by few. Are we on the verge of witnessing the fulfillment of one of humanity's most enigmatic prophecies? IT's started. Israel versus Iran. Are we witnessing the prelude to the Battle of Gog and Magog? A confrontation not just between nations, but between eras, ideologies and, possibly, the fulfillment of centuries-old prophecies. Get ready for an unprecedented exploration, where past and present meet, and the future is an unknown that we all seek to unravel. Imagine a scenario where the night sky is suddenly lit up not by stars, but by drones and missiles. That's what happened on April 13, 2024, a night that marked a surprise attack by Iran against Israel. Hundreds of drones and missiles sliced through the sky, a sight both impressive and terrifying. But here's something that's perhaps even more surprising: most of these projectiles never hit the ground. Thanks to Israel's advanced defense system, the crisis has been contained. For now. But what does this mean for us, watching from afar? Are we looking at a mere episode of geopolitical tension or something deeper, perhaps even prophetic? Many believe that this event could be the prelude to the Battle of Gog and Magog, a war mentioned in the Bible, both in the Old Testament and in the book of Revelation. Watching global events from a distance can give us a sense of detachment, as if we were watching a story unfold in a book or film. However, when events such as Iran's attack on Israel occur, that distance shortens, and we are forced to reflect on the impact of these actions on the world stage and, possibly, on biblical prophecy. The question that arises is, are we witnessing a simple episode of geopolitical tension, or are we on the verge of something much more significant and, for some, prophetic? The Battle of Gog and Magog, mentioned in the Bible, is a subject of great interest and speculation. In the book of Ezekiel, chapters 38 and 39, a future conflict involving Israel and a coalition of nations is described. This prophecy has intrigued scholars and believers for centuries, leading many to question whether current events could be signs of the fulfillment of this prophecy. The book of Revelation also mentions Gog and Magog, but in a different context, related to the end times and the final battle between good and evil. For many, the idea that we are living in the moments leading up to this prophecy is not just a matter of faith, but also an interpretation of the signs of the times, an analysis of world events in the light of the sacred scriptures. Iran's attack on Israel, in this context, is not just seen as another chapter in the long history of conflicts in the Middle East, but as a possible prelude to events of biblical magnitude. However, it is crucial to approach these interpretations with caution and discernment. Human history is littered with conflicts that were quickly pointed out as fulfillments of prophecy, but which, over time, were absorbed into the ongoing course of world events. This does not mean that we should ignore the possible prophetic implications of current events, but rather seek a balance between faith and critical analysis of the facts. Furthermore, reflecting on these events from a prophetic point of view can lead us to a deeper introspection about our role in the world and our responsibilities as inhabitants of an increasingly interconnected planet. Whatever our belief about the prophetic nature of current events, they offer us an opportunity to reflect on issues of peace, justice, and how we can contribute to a better world. Ultimately, the question of whether or not we are witnessing the fulfillment of biblical prophecies transcends mere intellectual curiosity. It touches on our deepest beliefs, our hopes and fears about the future, and challenges us to look beyond the immediate, pondering the deeper meaning of our existence and how our actions and beliefs fit into the larger tapestry of human history. Let's uncomplicate it together. Why would Iran attack Israel? The reasons are complex and historical, but the recent attack may have been a response to a specific incident, escalating an old conflict to new heights. Around 170 drones and more than 120 missiles were launched, but fortunately almost all were intercepted. No significant damage was reported, but the tension, that's palpable. This event brings us to an ancient prophecy, where nations ally against Israel, a country that, despite its small area, has never ceased to be at the center of world attention. Ezekiel, a biblical prophet, speaks of a great battle, where forces led by a figure called Gog, from Magog, set out against Israel. Interestingly, Persia, known today as Iran, is one of the nations mentioned. Questioning the connection between contemporary events and millennia-old biblical prophecies is a reflection that transcends simple curiosity, delving into the depths of faith, history, and geopolitics. Humanity has a long tradition of looking for signs in world events that may indicate the manifestation of the divine or the fulfillment of ancient prophecies. The current situation in the Middle East, especially the increased tensions between Iran and Israel, brings this issue into even sharper focus. The prophecies of Gog and Magog, mentioned in the Bible, speak of a conflict of enormous proportions, involving a coalition of nations against Israel. For many, current events may seem like a frighteningly accurate prelude to these ancient predictions. However, it is essential to approach these interpretations with an open and critical mind, recognizing the complexity of the times in which we live. The history of the Middle East is marked by conflicts and disputes that span centuries. Each episode of tension, each confrontation, has deep roots in territorial disputes, religious differences and power struggles. In this context, it is challenging to discern whether we are witnessing the unfolding of a prophetic narrative or yet another chapter in the long sequence of geopolitical events in the region. When considering the possibility that we are on the brink of a conflict of biblical proportions, we must also reflect on the impact of this perspective on our understanding of the world and on our actions. Belief in the fulfillment of prophecy can influence international politics, the decisions of world leaders and relations between nations. On the other hand, it can also inspire individuals and communities to seek peace, reconciliation and just solutions to long-standing conflicts. As we analyze the facts and try to interpret the signs of the times, it is crucial to maintain a balance between faith and reason. We must be aware of our tendency to fit events into pre-existing narratives, while remaining open to the possibility that something extraordinary is unfolding before our eyes. Ultimately, the question of whether we are witnessing the fulfillment of biblical prophecies invites us to a broader reflection on our place in the world, on how we deal with uncertainty and on what we can do to promote peace and justice in an often divided world. Regardless of our beliefs about the nature of current events, this is a time for reflection, dialogue and conscious action in search of a better future for all. At this time of global uncertainty and growing tensions, reflection on our contribution to peace becomes imperative. We live in an era where predictions of conflict and apocalyptic narratives often dominate conversations, both in traditional media and on social networks. However, it is crucial to remember that, regardless of our personal beliefs, we have the power and responsibility to influence the world around us positively. The intersection between history and faith offers us a unique lens through which to analyze current events. On the one hand, history teaches us about cycles of conflict and peace, showing us that, despite adversity, humanity has the capacity to overcome divisions and build bridges of mutual understanding. On the other hand, faith, in its various manifestations, often appeals to the best in us, encouraging compassion, solidarity and a commitment to justice and peace. In this context, the challenge is how we can, individually and collectively, contribute to peace. The answer starts with awareness, recognizing that our actions, words and even thoughts have an impact on the world. Small gestures of kindness and understanding can resonate in ways we can barely imagine, influencing not only those around us, but potentially generating waves of positive change on a wider scale. Furthermore, promoting dialogue and understanding between different cultures and beliefs is fundamental. In a world marked by divisions, seeking common ground and valuing diversity can help us build a more cohesive and peaceful global community. This can involve everything from constructive conversations in our communities to supporting initiatives that promote peace and reconciliation on a wider level. Finally, educating ourselves and others about the causes of conflict and the pathways to peace is essential. This means looking beyond the headlines, seeking to understand the deep roots of tensions and how they can be addressed in a just and sustainable way. At this time of reflection, we are all invited to question not only what is happening in the world, but also how we can contribute to a future where peace and harmony prevail over conflict and division. So while we observe and reflect on world events, how about dedicating ourselves to being messengers of peace, love and hope? In a world that seems to be walking a tightrope between peace and war, every gesture counts. Share this message, spread the love and maybe together we can make a difference. In the midst of the turbulence and uncertainty that mark the global scenario, the proposal to become messengers of peace, love and hope emerges as a beacon of light. Today's reality, often divided between the imminence of war and the longing for peace, demands that we take an active stance of benevolence and mutual understanding. Every action, no matter how small, carries the potential to transform the environment around us, positively influencing people and, by extension, the world. In this context, choosing to share messages of love and hope is not just an act of optimism, but a concrete form of resistance against the forces of division and conflict. By spreading love, we are in fact building bridges between hearts and minds, reducing the distances that separate us and strengthening the bonds that unite us as humanity. I therefore encourage each and every one of you to take this call to action forward. May we be the architects of a future where dialogue prevails over disagreement, where compassion overcomes indifference and where hope overcomes fear. By sharing this message, we join our voices in a powerful chorus, capable of echoing around the world, inspiring change and touching hearts. I'm Chris and thank you for sticking with me this far, and if you've been touched by these words, I urge you to carry them forward. Together, we have the power to illuminate the darkest corners of our world with the light of peace, love and hope. May we walk side by side on this journey, supporting each other and spreading goodness wherever we go. May God bless us in every step we take and keep us firm on the path of peace. Until we meet again, receive a big hug and all my affection. May the light of hope shine in your hearts today and always. Until next time.